The case of 7C supply is to be distinguished with Kingston Finance Berhad. In the later case, the issue of illegality had been identified as the first respondent was an unlicensed housing developer in contravention of Section 5 Sub 1 of the HTA. This illegality was so substantial that it rendered the charge illegal, thus it may not be specially pleaded. This is supported by the case of Adder and Alfaj, where a court will not knowingly enforce an unlawful agreement. What we can summarize from the first exceptions on illegality is the court retains its discretion in dealing with illegality. Thus, it is advisable for the defendant to plead illegality in the first place if he wishes to rely on it as a defense. Second exceptions on pleadings will be the lack of jurisdiction. First, we are required to know what is the meaning of jurisdiction. Jurisdiction is defined as the authority of a court or official organizations to make decisions and judgments. There are two types of civil court jurisdiction. First, monetary jurisdiction, second, subject matter jurisdiction, and third, territorial jurisdiction. The issue here is, what are the laws governing civil court jurisdiction? For superior courts, it is governed under the Courts of Judicature Act 1964, while for subordinate courts, it is governed under the Subordinate Courts Act 1948. Here are the examples of jurisdictions for High Court. As a general rule, where there is no jurisdiction, any finding or awards made by a court will be null and void. Thus, the defendant may defend over an action on the grounds of lack of jurisdiction, but included it as a ground in the statement of defense or pleadings. The issue here is whether the defendant may challenge on the grounds of lack of jurisdiction if this has not been pleaded. In Joseph Crossfield's case, it was held that the courts will allow an objection on lack of jurisdiction despite it is not previously pleaded, provided that it is a proper case to do so. The pleadings will be deemed as amended. What situation constitutes a proper case? It was stated in the case of Rengasamy Anamalai, which referred to Fakhru Hassan and Morgan, which emphasized that in order to constitute a proper case, the defect in jurisdiction must be apparent. Here is the example where the lack of jurisdiction is patent. When a session court has made an order for specific performance or revisions of a contract exceeding 1 million in contravention with Section 65(1)(c) of the Subordinate Courts Act, in such case, the pleadings are deemed to be amended and the court will accept the point despite it is not pleaded. To summarize the exceptions on lack of jurisdiction, it can be said that the courts will only exempt the defendant to plead lack of jurisdictions if such defect is apparent on the face of the proceedings, similar with the first exceptions on illegality.